Wow. See, you can't trust anybody, man. Are you serious? Your cousin? Your freaking cousin? And she was getting it on with someone at work too. Dude, those are just the two that you found out about, but luckily you found out about the first one. You got out of there.
Subject: Vermont divorce. Nightmare. How I found out my wife was cheating for years. Story submission. Dear True Story Epic, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you for even taking the time to read my story. I honestly never thought I'd ever be writing into a channel like yours, but here I am, writing this email during one of the most difficult chapters of my life. I found your channel completely by accident during Christmas of 2024, which also happened to be my very first Christmas alone in over a decade. Let me tell you, sitting in my quiet apartment, no family around, staring at the walls, scrolling through YouTube, I came across one of your videos titled, "She Cheated on Me with My Best Friend for Years," and I was instantly hooked. I binged your videos like crazy that entire holiday weekend. I laughed, I got angry, I nodded along with these guys' stories because, man, did I ever feel seen. And that's when I knew I had to share my story with you. The wild, painful, humiliating, and downright disgusting story of how I, Clarence, from Vermont, found out my wife of 11 years, Lynn, was cheating on me for years with my own flesh and blood cousin. Yeah, buckle up. Vermont, the worst place to get married. Let me vent real quick. Before I even get into the cheating part, I need to warn every man listening to your videos. If you're thinking about getting married in Vermont, don't. I'm dead serious. Vermont has to be the absolute worst place to get married if things ever go south. It's a beautiful place to visit, sure. Mountains, nature, foliage, all that postcard stuff. But the marriage laws, bruh, straight up nightmare fuel. In Vermont, they allow no fault divorce, but only after you and your spouse have lived separate and apart for at least 6 consecutive months. 6 months of limbo. 6 months of agony. 6 months of pretending like life isn't falling apart while the clock slowly ticks down. On top of that, divorce in Vermont requires time, planning, and most importantly, money. Lots of it. Between lawyer fees, court filings, custody battles, and everything else, I learned the hard way that Vermont is a divorce grinder, and I was stuck in it. Backstory: in the good old days, Lynn and I weren't always like this. Believe it or not, we actually started out really solid. We met back when we were both in our early 20s. At the time, Lynn only worked part-time. I was working full-time, but we made it work. We had dreams, man. We wanted to travel more, maybe even move out of Vermont one day. There was never any talk about TikTok or social media back then. We were about living real life together. Then our daughter came along, our beautiful baby girl. She's 9 now, but back then, she was our entire world. Things were good for a while, but as time went on, Lynn had to start working full time to help out with expenses. And honestly, that's when everything slowly started changing. TikTok dreams, or so I thought. Lynn became obsessed with TikTok. Obsessed is honestly putting it lightly. She worshiped people like Charlie D'Amelio, Addison Rae, Bella Poarch, and Dixie D'Amelio. I can't even count how many times I heard her say, "Those are the luckiest girls in the world. They get to just dance and live life and not have to work like the rest of us." She started talking crazy, saying stuff like she wanted to quit her job and become a full-time influencer. I didn't fully shut it down. I'm not a dream killer. I told her, hey, make content on your lunch breaks after work whenever you have time, but I'm not comfortable with you quitting your job and leaving me to carry the entire household. Seemed reasonable to me. Well, turns out she was making something on her lunch breaks all right. The gut feeling I couldn't shake. Fast forward a little bit, around mid 2024. Lynn comes home one random evening and drops this bombshell. I'm going to have to start working late a few nights a week. We're behind on a project at work. Immediately, my gut dropped. Something about it didn't sit right with me. We had an arrangement. She always picked up our daughter from her after-school program. It was literally on her way home. But now, guess who had to leave work early and drive way out of his way to pick her up every single day? Yep, me, Clarence. Inconvenient as hell, but I did it because I love my daughter, but that gut feeling only got worse. The phone habit started changing. Soon after, I started noticing the classic cheating signs. Lynn suddenly guarded her phone like it was the nuclear codes, taking it into the shower, sleeping with it under her pillow, flipping it face down around me, turning the brightness way down. I tried snooping a few times, but she was a light sleeper. Every time I reached for it, she'd wake up instantly, like a hawk. But patience is a virtue. 2 weeks after she started these late work nights, I finally got my chance. The discovery, 4-year affair, revealed. She had fallen into a deep sleep after one of her late-night work sessions. I carefully grabbed her phone, went straight to her messages, and boom, there it was. Hundreds of texts with her coworker. Disgusting texts, vulgar texts, pictures, videos, plans, hotel stays. They weren't just hooking up after work. They had been doing this on their lunch breaks too for years. 4 entire years. The craziest part, she told him things like, "I wish you were the father of my daughter. I feel alive when I'm with you. Clarence doesn't make me feel like a woman anymore. I hate having to go home to that weak man." I shook her awake immediately. The confrontation? Gaslight Central. "Wake up, Lynn. Who the hell is this?" Her eyes snapped open. For a second, pure panic washed over her face. But then, "Oh, buddy," the gaslighting began. "Why were you going through my phone, Clarence? This is why I don't feel safe with you. You're controlling. You're insecure. Ma'am, you've been having a full-on 4-year relationship with your coworker while I'm busting my ass for this family. And I'm the problem?" I packed a bag and left that night, meeting with a lawyer and learning Vermont's stupid divorce laws. The very next morning, I scheduled an emergency consultation with a divorce lawyer. She broke it all down for me. The 6-month separation period, the custody process, the financial breakdown. I felt sick to my stomach. But then I had a thought. The DNA test idea. If she could cheat on me for 4 years behind my back, what else was she capable of lying about? I looked at my daughter, my baby girl, and that awful question crept in. Am I even her father? I scheduled a dentist appointment for her like normal, but also booked a DNA test at a nearby clinic on the same day. The results: devastation. Weeks later, I got the email. The probability of paternity, 0%. I dropped to my knees. I couldn't breathe. My heart shattered into a million pieces. Confronting Lynn again. I confronted Lynn. She swore up and down that the test was wrong. She screamed. She cried. She threw things. She tried blaming me somehow, but the truth was out. The divorce hearing. Courtroom drama. 6 painful months later, we finally had our day in court. My lawyer fought like hell to get my name removed from the birth certificate to avoid child support. Lynn's lawyer argued that it wasn't fair to the child, that I had stepped up as a father figure and should continue to pay. The judge seemed to agree, at first, until my lawyer dropped the nuclear bomb. If Mrs. Lenz cannot provide the biological father's information, then Clarence should not be held financially responsible for a child that is not biologically his. The judge turned to Lynn. Do you know who the father is? Dead silence. Then the truth spilled out. The biological father, my own cousin. Turns out The real father was my cousin, my own blood relative. Apparently, they had a brief thing before I even met Lynn, but they kept it going during my entire marriage. Disgusting. The explosive argument with my cousin. I confronted him privately after court. Bruh, 4 years? My wife? My daughter? He shrugged. Man, things just happened. We almost came to blows. If people hadn't been there to separate us, I might have gone to jail that day. The judge's final decision. With the DNA results confirmed and the biological father identified, the judge ordered my cousin to pay child support. My name was officially removed from the birth certificate. I was free. Life after divorce alone but healing. December 2024. Divorce finalized. Christmas, alone for the first time. No daughter, no wife. Just me and my thoughts. But then I found your channel, and in a weird way, it saved me. Hearing other men's stories reminded me I wasn't alone. Final thoughts. A warning to men everywhere. Men, trust your gut. Pay attention to the red flags. And for the love of God, if you live in Vermont, prenup. Seriously, thank you for reading my story. Feel free to share it however you like. Update. Dear True, I hope this email finds you well. I wanted to provide you with an update on my situation since my last correspondence. As you know, my divorce from Lynn was finalized in December 2024, and I have been working on rebuilding my life since then. However, recent events have prompted me to reach out and share the latest developments. A desperate call from Lynn. A few weeks ago, I received an unexpected call from an unfamiliar number. Hesitant but curious, I answered, only to hear Lynn's voice on the other end. She was crying, her words barely coherent through the sobs. She pleaded with me to come back home, expressing that she was struggling immensely. Lynn confessed that she couldn't handle the pressures of raising our daughter alone and was at her breaking point. She went on to say that my cousin, the biological father of our daughter, had completely abandoned his responsibilities. According to Lynn, he refused to provide any support, financial or otherwise, leaving her to shoulder the burden alone. She even threatened to put our daughter up for adoption, claiming she couldn't provide the care and stability that was needed. Understanding my cousin's track record. Lynn's revelation about my cousin's neglect didn't come as a surprise to me. He has a notorious reputation for being a deadbeat father with 13 children from various relationships. His pattern of irresponsibility is well known within our family and community. Lynn was fully aware of his history before engaging in an affair with him, making her current predicament all the more frustrating. My response to Lynn's plea. As Lynn continued to plead, she attempted to put our daughter on the phone, perhaps hoping that hearing her voice would sway my decision. At that moment, a surge of emotions overwhelmed me. Memories of the bond I once shared with the girl I believed to be my daughter flooded my mind. However, the stark reality that she wasn't biologically mine anchored my resolve. I couldn't allow myself to be manipulated by Lynn's tactics. Without saying another word, I ended the call. Detaching emotionally, one might wonder how I could so easily detach from a child I raised and loved for 9 years. The truth is, the revelation of her true parentage acted as an emotional severance. While I cherished every moment I spent with her, understanding that our bond was built on a lie made it easier to step away. It's a harsh reality, but one I had to accept to move forward with my life. A new beginning in Oklahoma. Amidst the turmoil, a silver lining emerged. My company offered me a managerial position in Oklahoma, a promotion that comes with increased responsibilities and a significant salary boost. After careful consideration, I accepted the offer. The prospect of relocating to a new state, embracing fresh opportunities, and leaving behind the painful memories of Vermont is invigorating. Exploring Oklahoma's landscape. Oklahoma presents a blend of opportunities and challenges. The state's affordable cost of living is a significant draw. Housing prices are notably lower than the national average, allowing for a comfortable lifestyle without financial strain. Cities like Oklahoma City and Tulsa offer urban amenities without the exorbitant costs associated with larger metropolitan areas. However, it's essential to be aware of certain drawbacks. Oklahoma's weather can be unpredictable, with hot, humid summers and the ever present risk of severe storms and tornadoes. Additionally, public transportation infrastructure is lacking, making car ownership almost a necessity. Despite these challenges, the state's rich cultural heritage, friendly communities, and burgeoning job market make it an appealing destination. Preparing for the move. The decision to relocate wasn't made lightly. I've spent considerable time researching neighborhoods and local amenities to ensure a smooth transition. Engaging with online forums and local community groups has provided valuable insights into life in Oklahoma. The consensus is clear. While the state has its quirks, the warmth and hospitality of its residents make it a welcoming place for newcomers. Reflecting on the journey. As I pack up my belongings and prepare for this new chapter, I can't help but reflect on the journey that brought me here. The betrayal, the heartbreak, and the subsequent revelations have been transformative. They've taught me resilience, the importance of self-worth, and the necessity of making decisions that prioritize my well-being. Looking ahead, my focus now is on building a future that aligns with my aspirations and values. The managerial role in Oklahoma offers not just professional growth, but also a chance to redefine my personal life. I'm eager to immerse myself in the community, forge new relationships, and explore the opportunities that lie ahead. A message to others. To those who find themselves in similar situations, know that it's possible to rise above the pain and find a path forward. It requires courage, introspection, and the willingness to embrace change. While the scars of betrayal may never fully fade, they serve as reminders of our strength and capacity to overcome adversity. I wanted to share with you a recent development that has added yet another layer of complexity to my already tumultuous journey. If you recall from my previous emails, my cousin, who played a significant role in the unraveling of my marriage, has once again found himself in serious trouble. This time, however, the consequences are far graver than any of his past misdeeds. A troubled past catches up. My cousin has always been the black sheep of the family. From a young age, he exhibited a penchant for trouble, often finding himself on the wrong side of the law. Minor infractions in his teenage years escalated to more serious offenses as he grew older. Despite numerous interventions from family members and opportunities to reform, he seemed incapable, or perhaps unwilling, to change his ways. His criminal record is extensive, with the convictions ranging from petty theft to more serious charges. Each time he was released from incarceration, there was a glimmer of hope that he would turn his life around. Unfortunately, that hope was consistently dashed as he reverted to his old habits. The latest arrest, a serious turn. Recently, I received word that my cousin had been arrested once again. This time, the charges were severe: armed robbery. According to reports, he was involved in a heist that targeted a local business. The details are still emerging, but it appears that he and his accomplices used firearms to intimidate employees and make off with a significant sum of money. Given that this is his third major offense, he is now facing the possibility of a 30-year prison sentence. The three strikes laws in many states mandate harsher penalties for repeat offenders, and it seems that my cousin has finally run out of chances. A call from jail, an unexpected plea. A few days after his arrest, I received a collect call from the county jail. Recognizing the facility's number, I had a sinking feeling about who might be on the other end. Sure enough, it was my cousin. His voice was a mix of desperation and bravado. He began by acknowledging that he was in a bit of a situation and needed my help. Specifically, he was hoping I could post bail for him. The audacity of the request left me momentarily speechless. An incredulous reaction? After a brief pause, I couldn't help but let out a chuckle. The irony of the situation was too much to bear. Here was a man who had betrayed me in one of the most profound ways possible, fathering a child with my wife during our marriage, and now he was seeking my assistance. He seemed taken aback by my laughter and asked, "How can you laugh at a time like this?" His tone was a mix of indignation and disbelief, shifting blame and twisting narratives. Not missing a beat, he launched into a tirade about how Lynn was a get-around girl and always had been. According to him, I shouldn't let her come between family. The sheer hypocrisy of his words was astounding. It was as if he was attempting to downplay his role in the affair and shift the blame entirely onto Lynn. He went on to suggest that blood ties should supersede any grievances, implying that our familial bond obligated me to assist him despite his transgressions. Drawing the line, a firm response. I listened to his spiel, allowing him to vent his piece. Once he finished, I took a deep breath and responded with measured calmness. I told him that his actions had consequences, and it was time he faced them head on. I reminded him that trust, once broken, is not easily mended, and familial ties do not grant immunity from betrayal. I made it clear that I had no intention of bailing him out or supporting him in this endeavor. Our relationship had been irreparably damaged, and his current predicament was a direct result of his own choices. Before he could interject, I ended the call, reflecting on family and loyalty. This incident has prompted deep introspection about the nature of family and loyalty. While blood relations can be significant, they do not excuse harmful behavior. Loyalty is earned through actions and mutual respect, not merely dictated by shared genetics. In the past, I might have felt an obligation to assist him, driven by familial duty. However, his repeated betrayals have taught me that sometimes distancing oneself is necessary for personal well-being. The broader implications of recidivism. My cousin's situation also highlights the broader issue of recidivism in our criminal justice system. Despite multiple incarcerations and opportunities for rehabilitation, he continued down a path of criminality. It raises questions about the effectiveness of rehabilitation programs and the societal factors that contribute to repeated offenses. Many individuals released from prison face significant challenges reintegrating into society, from finding employment to rebuilding relationships. Without adequate support systems, the temptation to revert to familiar, albeit destructive behaviors can be overwhelming. Moving forward, embracing new beginnings. As for me, this episode has only solidified my resolve to move forward and leave behind the toxic relationships that have plagued my past. My upcoming relocation to Oklahoma represents more than just a career advancement. It's a chance to start anew, free from the shadows of betrayal and disappointment. I am focusing on building a future that aligns with my values and aspirations, surrounding myself with individuals who uplift and support me. A message to others facing similar struggles. To anyone grappling with familial betrayals or the moral dilemma of supporting a wayward family member, know that it's okay to prioritize your well-being. While compassion is essential, it should not come at the expense of your peace of mind. Setting boundaries is not an act of cruelty, but one of self-preservation. Conclusion. Thank you for allowing me to share this chapter of my journey. Your platform has been an invaluable source of support and understanding. As I continue to navigate the complexities of life, I remain hopeful for brighter days ahead.
You left. Salute to you, man. I'm glad it was easy for you to detach and everything, because I'm pretty sure for a lot of people it's not easy. Um, I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad you're doing good. I'm happy for your leveling up and everything, man. You didn't deserve that. You know, you spent all those years caring for someone who wasn't your child. She lied to your face. And she continued to lie. Oh, I gotta stay after work. No, you're cheating. You know, and this is a good story, you know, to tell you guys, always trust your gut. If you feel like something is wrong or something is off, it is. Believe it. Something is off, it is, man. It's off. Go check on it. She's taking her phone into the shower? No way. No way. OP, thanks for sending in this story. I appreciate it. Guys, if you want to send in another story or send in your own personal story, send it to truestorynation@gmail.com. Here, put it on the screen. That's truestorynation@gmail.com. Even if it's a story you saw online and you feel like we all should take a listen to it here. I'm going to catch you guys at the next one.